Nicole C, and I am going to offer you a bold solution for a problem that many of us struggle with: body acceptance. And I hope to shift how you feel about your own body just a smidge bit, so that you can create a legacy of body acceptance for yourself and for your loved ones. First, let me clear up a few misconceptions about body acceptance. Number one, you don't have to love your body. Now, in my utopia, we all think our bodies are magnificent, but it's okay if you don't feel that way. And number two, body acceptance does not mean that you have to embrace this unhealthy lifestyle. Your appearance does not dictate your health, and we can be healthy at every size. And often when we choose to be a little more accepting of our bodies as they are, we naturally choose healthier behaviors. So body acceptance just means that we accept our body as it is in this moment. We acknowledge that our body is our lifelong companion. And it's because of this vessel that we get to be alive right now, having this human experience. We realize that our worth can never be measured in a mirror or on a scale. So I want you to think about your own body for just a moment. Choose one word to describe it. We aren't sharing these, so don't censor whatever popped into your mind. All right, now picture the face of someone you love. Imagine they ask you to describe their body. Offer them the same word you chose for yourself with the same tone that you said it to yourself. How do they respond? How do you think you made them feel? And is that the legacy that you want to create? Normally, when we think of legacy, it's with intention. What can I leave to my loved ones? Hopefully some wealth, maybe family heirlooms, a creative body of work. But every day, often unintentionally, we're creating a legacy of either body shame or body acceptance. You are so powerful. How you feel about your own body, how you think about it, how you talk about it, how you treat it, all impact how your loved ones are going to perceive their own bodies. And a lot of people, they don't like their bodies. Our society has normalized the notion that our bodies constantly have to be improved. We buy into the belief that we have to slim or smooth or sometimes even surgically alter our bodies if we want to fit in with a certain group. If we want to find love or keep love, if we want to be successful in some way. And all that time and energy and money and brain space we spend on trying to get a better body doesn't always help us. And sometimes it really hurts us. And it's definitely hurting our young people. Current studies show that eating disorders are being diagnosed at younger and younger ages, even in boys. High school athletes are dabbling with performance enhancement drugs, trying to make their bodies stronger or faster. And we have 8 and 10-year-olds trying to control their weight with diets. And that last statistic became a lived experience in my family when one of my daughters was in the 3rd grade. She came home upset from her play date because her friend had spent their whole time together talking about her weight and how she needed to go on a diet. And all of us, we're living in this technological age with all these visual social media platforms. Everybody's always taking selfies. First, get the right angle, then take 27 photos to get one that you can post. Which, by the way, if you're posting photos today, it's TEDxCrawfordRoad hashtag. But often a lot of the selfies that get posted, especially by influencers, are photoshopped or have filters laid on them before they're posted. So we stop seeing the vast diversity of bodies that actually exist, and we get a real distorted view of what bodies are supposed to look like. And then sometimes we think there's only one kind of acceptable body to have. And if our body doesn't match what we think it's supposed to look like, we can spiral into shame and judgment for ourselves, which spews over onto everyone around us. Sonia Renee Taylor is an activist for radical self-love and body empowerment. And she says the bodies that we share space with often worry that we are going to judge them with the same venom that we use to judge ourselves. And I know in my bones that she's right. One Thanksgiving, I went to my mother's, and I remember we had just arrived, standing in her kitchen. I had a 1-year-old propped up on my head. I was holding my 3-year-old's hand. And as you can imagine, my mom was so excited to see us, and she offered me a lovely compliment about how great I looked. But before I could respond, she just shrank inward, threw her hands up and said, "Don't look at me, that one's so fat and disgusting." I remember feeling like I'd been gut punched. 3 reasons. 1, she did not see herself the way that I saw her. That broke my heart. 2, those precious little girls that I was holding, whose little bodies were miracles, were absorbing every bit of that poisonous language. And 3, my body was shaped almost exactly like hers. So if she thought her body was disgusting, what did she really think about mine? When I asked her what she meant, she was horrified that I would make an assumption about my body being disgusting because of how she felt about hers. But that's what it looks like when we're unintentionally creating a legacy of body shame. Now, in no way am I trying to shame my mom or make her a villain, because I'm just as guilty of thinking and saying really ugly, mean things about my body. Which makes me think about my daughters, what kind of stories I passed along to them without realizing it. And I know growing up in this world, they may struggle to accept their bodies, but I do not want it to be because I have been teaching them how to shame them instead. How do we protect our loved ones from the pain of this body shame? How do we go about creating a legacy of body acceptance? You may already be trying. You might tell your loved ones that what's on their inside is so much more important than what's on their outside. But that message becomes watered down hypocrisy if they see and hear you treating yourself with meanness and judgment. If we want the people that we love to know the liberation that comes from being comfortable in your own skin, then we've got to create a legacy of body acceptance for them. And the way that we do that is to make peace with our own bodies. Now that is a bold solution because it's going to require you to be brave. First, you're going to have to rebel against the tsunami of body shaming messages that you are swamped with every day. The diet and beauty industries spend tens of billions of dollars every single year to sell you products and services and lifestyle changes. And we buy into it hoping that just one of them will finally be the magic elixir that fixes all the things we think are wrong with our bodies. We are also going to have to accept that making peace with our body might feel risky. Because what happens if we stop devoting ourselves to fitness? Will we become unhealthy? What happens if we stop trying to stave off the effects of aging? Will we look old and will we become invisible to the people in this culture? Making peace with your body can also feel a little lonely and scary, especially if you're the first person in your family or friend circle who's giving it a try. Because we hear all these body shaming beliefs and then we just regurgitate them in our daily conversations with each other. So if you're the first person stepping out of that conversation or trying to deconstruct the messages, it might get really uncomfortable. But it is worth it. You are worth it. Often when I'm talking one-on-one with folks about body acceptance, they smile at me and they nod and say, "Yeah, that is so great for you." And what they mean is, "That's so great it worked for you, but it's not going to work for me because deep down, I don't believe my body's worthy of acceptance." But it is. Yours is. Also, I always get this question. Are you teaching this in middle schools and high schools? Because those kids really need to hear this messaging. I agree, they absolutely need to hear this messaging. But so do the grown-ups. And our kids need to hear this messaging from their grown-ups. Our loved ones need us to carve out a path on this body acceptance journey, one that they can follow. Because it's going to take all of us finding peace within our own bodies so that we can dismantle these oppressive systems that say some bodies are worthier than others based on size or skin color or ability. And that important work, it begins right here with us. We affirm that our worth is based on who we are and not what we look like. And we can go about creating this legacy in lots of different ways. One of my favorites is to quiet that nasty grand narrator that lives in our minds and tries to shame us. We can also practice offering our bodies compassion rather than judgment when we experience the changes that come with illness and injury and aging. We can learn to be present in the moments of our life while they're happening, rather than being distracted by how we look while we're living. And finally, we can offer ourselves some grace when we mess up. Because if, like me, you have been dragging around these shaming beliefs about your body for years, you're gonna mess up along the way in this body acceptance path. It takes time, it takes practice, it takes patience to create a legacy of body acceptance. Let's practice a little bit of that grace right now. Think back to the word you chose to describe your body. Some of you probably chose a feel-good word, like beautiful, strong, maybe miraculous. A couple of you maybe just chose a real neutral word, like my body's alive. But I bet some of you chose a word that didn't feel very good to offer to yourself and felt really bad to offer to the person that you love. But you can change your word. You can model what it looks like to accept yourself as you are and to give yourself some grace. Go ahead, do it right now. Choose a different word and create a legacy of body acceptance. Thank you.